Doing? How y'all doing? Welcome on up in here. Today I'm not gonna keep y'all long because I got a few more things to do before I close out my night. Um, and I just want to be real honest. I want to be real upfront. Today was probably one of the most frustrating days I've had in a very long time. You know, days where no matter what you do, no matter how hard you work, how hard you push, ain't nothing going right. Like it's like nothing is going right. No matter what you're doing, it's not working. Nothing's panning out. You're not seeing the outcome from the inputs that you're putting into this thing. You're investing, you're sowing, you're planting, you're watering, but ain't not working. And today, y'all, I was so frustrated. I was like, bruh, I'm that close. I'm this close to being like, bump all this and it's mama. But talk to my goddad. That was a great talk, even though I was kind of frustrated because I was like, listen, I don't want to hear this. But he was right. Talked to my mentor, same thing. I was like, I don't want to hear this, but y'all right. And I just had to really sit and go take a step back. And so I figured because I'm going through this, you might be going through this too. And just so y'all know, when I'm going live on here, I'm not getting on here telling you that I've arrived, okay? I'm getting on here documenting the journey, okay? So whatever I am sharing with you is something I've needed for myself. You literally are getting just a benefit of my life, a benefit of my studying, a benefit of what God's giving to me, okay? And so I don't want anybody to get the mind that dang, well, take this off too. I don't want anybody to get the mindset that Faye thinks she know everything, or Faye's arrived, or Faye cap, or whatever that is. I need you to understand that whatever I'm sharing on my lives is something that I am dealing with or I've dealt with. Okay. And so today I was just real frustrated. Real frustrated. I feel like my gifts were real frustrated. My circumstance is real agitated right now because I know I'm like right there at my breakthrough, and I'm pivoting and I'm obeying God in the pivot, but it's hard. And so let's get into it. I need you to understand that sometimes in life, your gifts will feel frustrating. Okay. What do I mean? You able to see for everybody else. You able to help everybody else. I got a question for you. Have you ever felt like your gifts are more of a burden to you than a blessing? Like, no matter how hard you try, no matter what, you keep running into obstacles. That's what I mean about frustrating. When you right there, when you think you right there at the breakthrough, and you like, man, I'm about to finally break through. But then it's like it's like you might as well be all the way back to first base because nothing's panning out. That's what I mean. And so we're going to talk about how these gifts feel frustrating because there's several examples in the Bible. We got Joseph, we got Moses, we got David. We can go on and on about people in the Bibles who gifts were frustrating. And so first thing I need you to understand about your gift. One, you got to, before we can get into the steps, number one, you got to understand that you are a gift. You are a gift to somebody. There's a talent, there's a gift, there's an ability inside of you that God planted inside of you. It's up to you to cultivate it and put it out there in front of people, okay? And if you fail to cultivate it, does not mean you don't have purpose. Does not mean that you're exempt from the accountability that will be in your life, okay? And so just because you're scared to put yourself out there, you need to understand that God's still gonna be looking for an outcome. He's still gonna be looking for ROI. What is the ROI? A return on the investment that of you. You are the investment. You are the gift. And most times we get in a really bad space because we count up, looking at, inventorying other people's gifts and not looking at our own. When the last time you really sat down and thought through, dang, what am I good at? What do I suck at? Where can I grow? And then most times when we do that, we spend all of our energy on what we suck at and what's our obstacle. I want you to do the reverse. I want you to begin, and I'm talking to myself too. I want you to begin to start to look at your strengths and strengthen them. And then find the person, find the who's the person that you're missing, and get them to connect with you, and you all build the thing out. We spend so much time trying to compensate for what we're lacking and we want to be a one-stop shop. We want to have it all. We want to hold all the money. Bump that. Find someone and help them. And that person is the missing link of what you are, and y'all come together and you unite and boom, get it done. Okay. Anyways, so once you figure out what your gift is, what your strength is, The first thing you got to do is know that your gift will always be tested. Okay? It must be tested before it can ever be trusted. Think about it. No matter if it's a sock, no matter if it's even this Bible had to be tested, this pen had to be tested. It's called quality control. And this is for all my engineers. Say what's up in a comment. You know that before y'all can put a product out or an invention out, it must be tested. And your gift ain't no different, okay? And so we look in the Bible that Joseph had a dream. He had that dream. Boy was like real full of himself, was telling everybody whatever. But Joseph had to go through. Joseph had to go through a process of betrayal, slavery, prison, boy. And it goes on and on. And so what you got to understand is the frustration comes from you can see the vision, but can't nobody else see it. That could be so frustrating, boy. You like, man, I know this can happen. Why is it taking so long? It's like no matter what I do, no matter how many times I sow, how many times I water, how many times I pray, how many times I read the Bible, it seems like it ain't happening for me. And what you got to understand is this is a test and you got to endure. And I'm speaking to myself because today was one of them days. And I was like the kids acting a fool. Husband away at work all day, ain't got no pause between work, kids, cook, work, kid. And I'm like, I got calls to make, can't make the calls because this. And it was literally like, bro, I'm getting so frustrated. I might just be fed up with everything. But you got to understand that little momentary feeling, that little pity party that's trying to invite you to give you an invitation to the party, that little pity party, you got to deny the invitation. And you got to continue to proceed forward. And you got to like begin to even shake yourself to get out of that space. Because today, y'all, I was frustrated all day. Because all my kids, boy, it's like them bugs today was on 10. And my husband was going all day. And I got deadlines. I got people counting on me. I got all this stuff in the fire. And I'm like, Father, what the heck is going on? But I got to understand that I'm in a season of process. Think about processing. Think about what Amazon do to them boxes before that box get from Amazon to you. Think about the process, baby. Think the box like to be crushed and this and this and the flip. You think that's easy? God, the box has to go through this process. And most times we try to skip the process in order to get to the end goal, but that's not how this thing works. That's not how it works. You got to endure, okay? And so the gap between the promise and fulfillment is called your wilderness. So most of us are in a wilderness season, and there's levels to this wilderness stuff, okay? From every level, there's a new wilderness. So don't get it twisted, okay? You may be in a beautiful place, because like me, I used to be a homeless single mom. Like, I'm not kidding. Homeless single mom sleeping in my car. A Mitsubishi Galant, baby. Homeless. Because Faye chose to get her man, have sex with him, do, get pregnant. He burned out and left me. And here I am with a baby, not knowing what to do with my life. And so now I am a homemaker, entrepreneur, wife, mentor. Okay. And so there's levels. And what you got to stop doing is judging where you are with what someone else is going through. Okay. Stop looking at what they're going through. Or they got it all easy. Or I wish I had to. I hear that all the time from people. Always trying to judge somebody else and say their stuff is harder. There's no harder, okay? There's no harder. There's your story and there's your story, and you cannot compare the struggle between any of y'all. No one is made the same. And for y'all people, oh my God, for y'all people who love playing a victim, somebody tell you what they're going through, and here you come. Girl, you don't even understand, girl. You ain't got no lights on, baby. My lights and my rent ain't paid. Shut up. What type of competition is that? That foolery competition. When you trying to outdo somebody else's hardship. That's dumb. Stop trauma bonding. Stop struggle bonding. Stop becoming friends because y'all both broke. Stop becoming friends because y'all both going through whatever. And learn how to get around people who can help you come out of that. I guess so. That right there make me cut you off real quick, okay? But what you gotta understand is, in your wilderness season, you cannot allow that frustration that's gonna come when nobody's seeing the hours you're putting in, when no one's seeing the money that you're investing, when no one's seeing the blood, sweat, and the tears. And in fact, in the wilderness season also, people will be stealing from you. People will be abusing you. People will be mishandling and misusing you. But what you gotta understand is the frustration comes to help make you. Think about how a pearl's made. When a pearl's inside of that oyster or whatever that animal is, okay? When a pearl's inside of that thing and it's being agitated, do you not understand what that really means? It's beautiful when we put it around our neck or we have a pearl, whatever. But think about the process. Most of us are being processed. And there's faith to faith, strength to strength, glory to glory. So that means every new level comes with what? A new frustration. And so we cannot allow ourselves to get frustrated out of our position, to get frustrated out of your season that God calls you to be in, to get frustrated out of your destiny. You got to trust the process, okay? And that's hard as a mug, boy. That right there, that's easily said than done, okay? But you got to trust the process and know that God is refining you. And what he's really doing is working on that character so you can sustain. So a lot of y'all are so gifted, like myself. I'm pretty gifted. I ain't tooting my own horn, but I know I got some, though. I know I got some, okay? And so I cannot be, like, God cannot put me in that position. Because if the character and the strength don't match the position can crush me. And so it's grace that you haven't arrived. And I know you like, man, Faye, I gotta pay my bills because I feel you. I gotta take care of my parents. I feel you. I mean, we got valid excuses why we want to arrive already. But if we were ready, God would already seated us in that position, okay? And so we gotta understand that our gifts are not broken. Your gift, no one may not see it. It may appear that you're the last thing on somebody's mind. It may feel like, whatever, I want to be done with all this. You may be in a very frustrating season, but you got to understand that God is building you. And I'm talking to myself, okay? I'm talking to myself as I'm giving this to you because this is something God really helped me walk through today. Today, y'all, I was like, bro, I'm done with all this. I'm about to just kick all this out. But that's the enemy. That's the enemy in me. Faye being petty and allowing frustration to get her out of position, and also the enemy trying to heighten it with fiery darts. And you got to understand, at that point, it means get back into the secret place, okay? So let's keep going. Point 2 is your gift will attract opposition. So when you begin to rise up and be who God called you to be, God know the opposition, the ops, the enemies, they coming, okay? Opposition is coming. You got to understand. Nehemiah had the gift of leadership, okay? But he also had to rebuild the wall. The opposition came. And so he had a great gift, but he had a problem. He had something that came to really frustrate him. And so when you step into your purpose, listen to me. When you step into your purpose, resistance will follow. There's no other way. When you step into your purpose, resistance coming. And I love what Myron Golden said, right? He put this so eloquently. I love that dude. One day I'm gonna be in his program, okay? I'm coming for that program. But anyways, he said this first step is awareness. You become aware of situation, and once you see it, you can't unsee it, okay? You become aware. Then there's an intention. Then there's a decision. Then once you make a decision, there is disruption, okay? Okay? And so that always comes. God literally said to go and multiply and like dominate the earth, right? God said, go and take over this thing, right? Just make it beautiful, right? But then God also said, subdue it, mean any opposition that comes your way. You ain't smaller than your opposition. God said to stomp it. That's what subdue means, stomp it. And so what you got to understand is that you have to not allow doubts, people, spiritual warfare, your own stinking thinking to get in the way of you to make you stop doing what God's telling you to do, if that makes sense. You can't allow nothing. It ain't gonna make sense. And sometimes your business and your gift, your spouse, your kids, whatever that is, can begin to frustrate you. You be like, bro, I don't even know why I did this, bro. You literally be like, the very thing you pray for, you be like, get it out of here. I'm done. No, that's the wrong thing. You got to try to figure out, why is it frustrating me? What is God building in me? And begin to learn them lessons. Unless you're trying to be in the wilderness around that same old mountain until you get it done. Not me, baby. We trying to learn the lesson and keep it pushing, okay? And so you need to stay focused, and this is a tangible step to overcome it. Stay focused on your assignment. So some of y'all be word hunting. Y'all be going to all these prophetic people, trying to get a word, looking thirsty. Stop doing that too. You look crazy. They used to be me too. I ain't gonna lie. They used to be me. I'm like, oh, you a prophet? What the Lord said? Dumb. But that's how some of y'all look. Okay, and that's okay. Repent and turn. But anyways, you gotta go back to the original word God gave you. Because sometimes in this life, when so much coming at you and it's overwhelming and you're frustrated, you can begin to forget. We as humans are quick to forget, especially when that heat get turned up, boy. When that heat get cranked up, you like, bruh, I'm out. I ain't got time. I ain't got time, bro. Life is short. I ain't got time. Yes, you gotta make time though. And so, what did God tell you? What was the original word? If you forgot, go pray, get your journal back out, go back and read, get back to the original word. And once you do that, you begin to focus. And then you got to stop allowing distractions, negativity, stupid people. Yep, I said it, stupid people. Family, it don't matter. Stop allowing the wrong people to speak into you, because that's coming to stop your process and stop your progress. Most times we allow a hater to sow death and destruction into our life, into our business, into our marriage, into our whatever, our mind, which is the worst place you can let a person sow something like that into. You allow them to sow that into your mind, bro, and then you be trying to figure out why you got thrown off for like 3 months. It's because your mind you are a garden. Did you know that? We are made from the dust of the earth, bro. Dust of the earth. You are the garden. And you are also the gardener. And so what seeds are you putting into the garden of you? And so if you are allowing someone to sow thoughts of negativity, hateration, doubt, you letting them frustrate you, you letting them agitate you, you letting them throw you off your game, guess what? That could totally derail your progress. That can totally mess you up. You can't do that. Stay focused so you don't lose progress. And so every attack on your gift, no matter what it is just confirmation that you on the right track. Keep it going, okay? We almost there, y'all. The last point I want to make about this is your gift requires obedience. Follow me. Obedience and stewardship. These are two things that us gifted people lack, either one or the other. If you lack both, you really in a situation, okay? You need to go and get them things, okay? You need to understand that your gift, unless you apply both of these, will always frustrate you. You need to be obedient to what God's called you to do, and you need to steward that gift. And most of us don't even understand what that means. And so what we're going to look at is the parable of the talent. It shows that God expects you to steward your gift. Okay, and most of y'all know the parable of the talent. If not, go to Matthew 25 verses 14 through 30. Go check it out. I can't do it right now, it's too long. Okay, but you need to understand that frustration will cause you to bear your gift. When you allow frustration, how people may mishandle you, how people may treat you, how you think people think about you, you gotta hear me. Most of y'all, you think people think about you. People not thinking about you. People trying to survive. People trying to live. People think about themselves. And so just because a person don't call you, don't text you, don't respond, or whatever it is, or they may be looking the days past you, and here you are like, oh, look how they looking at me. You got to understand that you're not that important, okay? You are important, but you're not that important. Most people out here trying to figure it out, just like you. And so what you got to understand is when a person's like not like responding or not like that, begin to pray for them. Begin to know that they're probably frustrated. They're probably going through something. And I just need to be a good sister, good brother, and not make it always about me. Because most times when you trying to use your gifts, you trying to use your influence for all about you, you ain't going nowhere far. Because our gifts are not for us. Our gifts and our talents are not for us. They're for other people, to serve other people. And so when you get frustrated, frustration comes to tempt you to throw in a towel. When you get overwhelmed, it comes to make you want to throw in a towel and say, I'm done with this. Because I know so many times I've built businesses that failed. You know how many businesses I tried to build? Here's an example. One time, because I was that what's it called? The shiny object syndrome. That's when every time somebody says my money, I was like, woo, let me try that. Let me try this. And yo, I remember I don't even got a dog. I don't even have an animal. I don't have an animal. But it was probably like 2018. Yeah, 2018. We'll just say right there. 2018. And I still got receipts too. I saw that people was making a lot of money off pet stuff. And my foolish self went and opened a pet store, a digital online pet store. I literally went and got me a website set up. I got all the paywall set up. I did all that stuff to go make that money, right? Y'all, stupid. I ain't got no dog. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what's hot in the market. I'm just out here moving fast, not stewarding my gifts. Because what am I doing? I'm putting too many irons in the fire. And so I'm all over the place. And that's something I've had to fight with. I'm just being honest, full transparency. I've had to fight with that one thing. Because too many irons in the fire. You know for a fact you're not being obedient. Because God may tell you one or two things, but He ain't gonna tell you 20 at one time. And if you can't be everywhere all over the place, so you know you're not storing it. And so I had these gifts and these talents and abilities, but I was over here trying to wholesale, credit repair, do taxes. I mean, y'all, I had so many Gmail accounts, it was ridiculous. Because your girl was just trying to get the bag. I ain't gonna even lie. I was like, listen, whatever I gotta do legally to make my money, I'm about to do it. Looking crazy. There was no strategy. There was no obedience to what God told me to do. I had forgot about what God said to do because I was all over the place. And I was not stewarding my energy. I was not stewarding my money. I was not stewarding my time because I was just trying to get that money. And so what you gotta understand is when you get into overdoing yourself, you get frustrated, that is how the enemy's trying to get you to bury your gift. And so you might begin to feel stuck because you're waiting for the perfect moment. Baby, let me tell you something. Ain't no perfect moment. And I know what I said. Ain't no perfect moment, okay? There's no perfect moment. All there is now. All you're going to do what God tells you to do right now, okay? And you got to understand that God, He don't do His part. You ain't waiting on Him. He waiting on you to be obedient. And so you're like, why God ain't moved? Why God ain't did what He told me He going to do? Could it be because you ain't did what God told you to do? Could it be that you are what's holding back what God wants to do? And I've had to go and ask God, like, Lord, what did I miss? Because clearly something ain't working. So Lord, help me to see what is missing. Because today, y'all, I ain't gonna lie. Today I was so frustrated. I was so frustrated. But I had to understand that there's no perfect timing. I don't know the season of times. All I can do is continue to be a good steward and obey what God told me to do when He told me to start this business or whatever. And God is the one that's gonna bring the harvest in this time. I cannot allow my frustration, my bills, my kids, none of that to agitate me and make me bury my gift. And so I want you to begin to take action with what you have in your hand. Count what you got in your hand. What do you got? What's your strengths? Maybe are you a good communicator? Are you a good stylist? Or what do you do? And do it to the best of your abilities. Use your gifts even when they are small. Most of us, we look at everybody else. You're like, oh my God, look at Faye. She doing this. Bro, don't you know how hard this is? When I first started doing my lives, you should go back. Just scroll up a little bit. You will see my little ratchet little lives, baby. And I'm still not top tier, but I'm going to get there though. But you see me using what I have. One time, y'all, I had about 4 phones, old phones, just all boom, 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 talking to my people. And the one was glitching. The internet was going in and out. I didn't care. I was on there though. And y'all was watching. I'm just kidding. But what you got to understand is before God can trust you with much, you got to be faithful with the few. And I am with all my ability, no matter how frustrated I get, no matter how tired I get, I know how to breathe, take a moment, breathe, rest, and then go back and apply. Ask God, Lord, what can I do to better this? Step back and allow the Lord to lead me to where I need to be next, using what I got in my hand. And so frustration fades when you focus on faithful stewardship. You hear me? You focus on faithful stewardship over waiting for perfection. There's no such thing as perfection. Okay? Perfection is eternity. When we get to heaven, baby, and we see the streets of gold. That's perfection. But while we here on this earth, we gotta do what we can do with what we got. And if you waiting for everything all of a sudden to line up, you're gonna be waiting forever. I see you right in the same spot in 2027, okay? And so your gifts are never meant to be easy. This road ain't easy, honey. I know. It's so hard. Especially if you are a mom and don't get to having multiple kids, but one can be enough by herself. I ain't gonna lie. One child, baby, changed my whole life. I ain't gonna lie. And so don't be coming for us, the mamas with one child. But when you get a circus like mine, when you get a zoo at your house like mine, and I love my kids, but baby, them kids be kidding, okay? It be hard when you're trying to honor your husband and raise your kids and do what you have purpose in your heart without allowing it to overshadow your other responsibility of kingdom marriage and kingdom children. It's hard, but it ain't meant to be easy, but it's meant to have kingdom impact. Okay, so I want to encourage you to begin to pray, seek clarity, get with your pastor, go to church. If you don't go to church, get your butt to church. Okay, need a church? Come to Divine Life Church in Memphis, Tennessee. It's not even really a church, to be real. It's called. I had this talk with my brother, and it was really fun talk. I'm tangenting right now. Really fun talk. He was like, "This was what a church is, and a church ain't nothing." And I said, this is actually what a church is supposed to be. A church is supposed to be a worship and training center where believers come to be equipped, to be sent out to do work for the kingdom. And he was like, oh, snap. And so if you need a church, come to my church. Come hang out with us, okay? But I love y'all. I will see y'all tomorrow, probably around the same time. I'm going to try to move it up a little bit, but with my life set up, this time works really, really nice for my life, okay? But I love y'all. Y'all have a good evening. And remember, your gift may seem really frustrating, maybe having a hard time. Because today, I ain't gonna lie, today I was like, listen, all this and its mama is from the birds. All of it can go kick bricks. I don't care. And I had a really hard conversation with a few people, and I didn't like it, but at the same time, there was truth to it. And I wasn't gonna quit, so don't hear me saying that. I ain't no quitter. But I was like, listen, I need something to shift. If it don't shift, I can't keep doing this. This waste time. But I literally had to go and deal with my emotions. Remember what we talked about yesterday? If you didn't watch me yesterday, go watch the video. Yesterday, I taught you how to come out of those very intense emotional moments because you're going to have them. And I'm learning right now, baby, for my girl Keena Burks, baby, the EQ queen. What is EQ? Emotional intelligence. I'm learning how to identify my emotions, allow them to flow for 5 minutes max, and then, okay, I hear you. I've acknowledged you. Go have a seat. That's how you got to do it. And so I'm encouraging you. Don't allow the frustrations of life, the frustrations of people, the frustrations of what ain't working to stop you. You got this. The Lord is with you. He's faithful. I'll see y'all later. Y'all take care.